This is the last guide I will be making for Tekken 7. It's for the prodigal son, Jin Kazama. If you have Tekken 7 and you want to get in some work in ranked with some beginner to intermediate stuff for Jin, this one's for you. Don't worry, I'll be going over all this again verbatim in some cases when it comes to Tekken 8. Now, let's see what happens when the prodigal son returns. And begin. Starting off with number 3 in his move list. Left-right axe kick. Some quick absolute beginner notes here. This string of attacks starts with one jab, the one button, a left jab. By itself, this punch is +1 if your opponent blocks it, which means if they choose to stand there and try to punch out, your attack takes priority and they will continuously be punched in the face. If you're new, this will make loads of sense later on as you continue to play. This standard 10-frame jab, which means it's a quick attack, is +8 on hit. If you land the first 2 punches, Jin will be +3. The first 2 punches also jails your opponent, which means if they block the first punch, they cannot duck the second punch. The left-right attacks are also a mere -2 on block, which allows you to sidestep a linear attack and perhaps throw out the attacks again. 1, 2, 3. How quaint. Ends with a lapping kick that knocks down on hit. And I'll tell you now, on hit, if you press down 2, your opponent gets struck by an inescapable move, Blackout, for a nice little combo. Left-right axe kick is neutral on block. No one has a clear advantage, and the situation resets. This string of attacks, when starting off with Jin, is a great way to start his close quarters combat. If this string is blocked and the ops are a bit slow in taking their turn, you can go right back into the string. Furthermore, if your opponent thinks because they've blocked the string that Jin has some recovery frames to go through, and they press a heavy framed button or a 13-frame mid, left-right axe will beat them out. And take note, only the punches are guaranteed on counter hits. The axe kick can be blocked. This is also a great place to implement a Tekken fundamental. Mix up ducking with left-right axe on block. Case in point, throw out a junk punch immediately after the string. You can either press down back 1 to go into this punch action. As pressing down 1, Jin will execute corpse thrust, which is a good move, but just not for here. Or you press down 2, a bit longer range junk punch poke. Say that 10 times fast. But you're +6 landing down back 1, +7 landing down 2. Either way, this scenario right here is a staple as to why Jin is a great fundamental character. With down jabs, looking to stop an opponent's momentum. On the other end of the spectrum, there's the option to duck right after left-right axe is blocked to play some defense. A good time to watch out for high attacks, whereupon watching the attacker whiff or interrupting a gap in a string, while rising 2, crouching uppercut will launch them. Insert Patreon plug here. Best way to support the channel. I highly appreciate you being here no matter what. All things considered, beautiful view though, no? Adding to this variant is a move that can be utilized in a number of different places. Evading middle strike, like what makes chocolate cake good. It's in the name. This attack has built-in evasive properties. Left-right axe string blocked. Going into this attack promptly after will step an opponent's linear attack and knock them down on counter hit. or if they move around, we'll tag them for a good +6 frames. On knockdown, this is where ideally you would implement wave dashing to get over to your opponent. It is an advanced thing. You don't worry about that for now if you're just getting started. Don't worry, I'll be going over wave dashing, all the old stuff, and all the new stuff Jin can do in upcoming guides for Tekken 8. However, refer to the wave dash guides in the description to get you on the right track for now. To cap this off, evading middle strike is safe at -7, just to let you know. Jin's attack range can be an issue in Tekken 7. His one jab can be a bit fickle in reach. Quick comparative statement. A character like Gigas does not have this problem. Not to say Jin is the only one that does, but watch out when sticking out his 10-frame buttons beyond a close range, because the strikes can whiff, leaving Jin exposed to a counter hit, if only for a moment. A moment, however, that may be costly. Be cautious of that. This string is high, high, mid, so watch out for people ducking at the start of rounds to avoid high attacks. And the parry posse, who will look to make Jin feel powerless up close by parrying his attacks, especially Asuka, who can bring Jin all sorts of particular troubles. The axe kick portion of this string is steppable to Jin's left shoulder. Though not the easiest thing to do, more advanced players can get this done. Ops trying to step this move to Jin's right, however, the hitbox is such that it catches opponents stepping this way a lot of the time. Exceptions to this are those with great side steps and smaller bodies like Lily, and those with smaller bodies and/or block Jin's right punch at tip range. The axe kicks' hitbox becomes steppable here in those aforementioned cases. Ducking is something an opponent may primarily do to give themselves great time to reply with a while rising move before the axe kick comes out. In the kick portion of this attack string can be interrupted by an opponent's junk punch, as well as a straight up jab. Which is when we turn to this next move. Left right to spinning hook kick. 1, 2, 4, 3 high attacks. You lose that whole restarting the neutral thing that you get using the mid striking axe kick on block. But in this spinning hook kick string, the kick portion is -4. Safe. Has some great pushback and a great time to throw out down 2 on an advancing opponent to try to steal your turn back. If your opponent tries to sneak in a button in between this string of attacks, thinking that you're going from the punches into axe kick, this kick becomes a counter hit launcher. This is one that's on the list that will need to be revisited in dissecting Jin's moves in Tekken 8. 1, 2, 4, also wall splits. Just like with the axe kick string, the first 2 high attacks can be ducked and an opponent can counter with a simple dig jab, or even bigger hits like while rising moves. However, if timed improperly or just using a heavy frame button, that third attack, the kick, will score that counter hit for you. Keep in mind, akin to the axe kick attacks, the parry posse can take down both strings, like that one character in a movie you hate. Whether at the beginning or at the end, they will have to be taken care of. Pay special attention to them. Unlike the axe kick string, 1, 2, 4 being 3 high attacks, the kick can be ducked and launched, just like the first 2 attacks, so be careful. Enemies trying to sidestep the 1-2 punches at the start of rounds may get clipped by Jin's right punch, stepping to their right. However, this can be timed properly to make the punches whiff all together. At this same distance, opps moving to their left will get hit by the right punch if they don't properly sidestep block. Closer, like right up against an opponent, the entire spinning kick string can be stepped to ops left, in the hook kick interrupted if they step right. And the same goes for the axe kick string. Right up close, it's steppable left and right. Though I never see anyone really step these strings like that, it is possible. And keep in mind, the spinning axe string can be ducked, no matter which way the opponent steps. 3 high attacks, all safe. An opponent conditioned to the axe kick string, one that you've noted interrupts it, switch over to the spinning hook ender to catch them pressing. The left to right axe conditioning can also be used at the wall. Ops goes to interrupt, the spinning hook 4 button, wall splats. The kick is delayable, which really gives this attack added power, confusing an enemy as to when is their turn. And the pushback can be used to set up a litany of things, not just down 2, but things like front jump kick and even crouching uppercut. Another thing that is different from the axe kick string is even if the right punch lands on counter hit, the axe kick can be blocked. But this is not the case with the hook kick. The right punch finds its mark on counter hit. Spinning hook is guaranteed for a knockdown. In caught moving, sidestepping, whichever way the kick knocks down, wave dash into your opponent again comes into play. Jin can be a pretty good character, right? At this moment, we're going to throw in one more string into this mix. Left jab to double low. 1, down 3, 4. Landing the first 2 hits leaves Jin at -1, but the full string makes Jin +3 on hit, allowing you to go right back to work with Mr. Karate Man here. The third low kick by itself, landing on counter hit, knocks down for an inescapable hit with blackout. Using these 3 strings, string 3, 4, and 8, as a cyclical wheel, you can frustrate the hell out of your opponent, and they may become discombobulated and not know what to do. Trust me, I've seen it many times before. The number one thing that keeps this cycle going is that last hitting kick in the low string, as if the enemy tries to attack after being hit, they get punched in the face all over again and have to face the same mix-up. Right up in your opponent's face, throw this string out a few times and then switch to the 1, 2, 3 string. And don't forget about down 2 if you get the knockdown. Left jab to dub low also can be used as a knowledge check to your opponent. You find them consistently blocking that last low hit, or they become conditioned to doing so. Their Jin Kazama knowledge is on point. However, you can still probably get away with the first 2 hits, wherein the ops will duck to evade a low that never shows up. That last hit can be delayed as well, adding confusion to those who like to turtle up or hold block, though those may be few and far between. A good time for down forward 1 on a hesitant opponent too. In the almighty 4 button, right roundhouse, if you land the low ender of the string and the opposition presses. This high homing 13 frame attack becomes a counter hit launcher that will trade with a one jab. Don't forget this move. It is really good for Jin. Jab to dub low is highly steppable both ways. That 4 button is strong and deters a lot of players from stepping haphazardly. Make sure you use it. But after the jab, hit or block, the enemy is locked in place from sidestepping. This string is -13 on block, the ideal frame rate for opponents to punish. However, Jin doesn't have to worry about his father launching him with twin pistons due to the string's pushback. And though tricky to do, you'll be able to note well how familiar your opponent is with Jin if they duck the high punch and promptly hop kick, as it will go over the following low. Strings 3, 4, and even 8 can all play victim to the enemy ducking and going for a launcher or while rising move. And all of these strings are a great tell if you're fighting against someone who knows Jin well, as they will read your attacks coming and act to counter you. And as noted previously, a simple dig jab shuts all of these strings down before they even really get going. That's when we bring in this next string, number 9 on the move list, 214. This string starts off at 10 frames, is +4 if you get all 3 hits. Though the first punch is +9 on hit, you more than likely will be going into 2-1, as the punches are a natural combo and Jin is +6, unlike the left-right punch string in which Jin is +3. Now the kick here isn't guaranteed though, safe at -9. You can delay it to surprise a hesitant opponent and keep your offense going. But the main reason to add this to your arsenal when first starting out with Jin is the mid punch, a part of this attack string. It is a good deterrent against those who turtle up, and it can deter people from ducking the junk punch. Though the dig jab can still beat the mid punch if it doesn't just trade, it has to be done proper quick. 2-1 can also clip while rising launchers for those who think you're relying on the left jab strings. Use this with some of Jin's high attacks in high-low strings. The kick portion being delayable, you don't get anything more on counter hit. But the delay can really have your opponent scratching their head about when exactly is their turn. Enemies may not know what the hell is going on, and to make matters worse for themselves, may attempt to just mash out, where knockdowns may occur. Don't forget about Roundhouse kick here. There are no elbows or knees a part of this string, so I'll spare you the footage and just tell you to watch out for parry. Delaying the kick portion of the string potentially leaves Jin open to attack, so it's a who's challenging appropriately kind of deal. Delay it a bit, or not at all, Jin cannot be interrupted. Delay the kick too much, and it's a masher's paradise. At strike distance, a particularly good sidewalk to their right avoids all 3 attacks for Jin's opponent. Otherwise, the second punch will catch them. And the kick hits those moving to their left. Right up close, this string can be avoided left and right. But the kick can still chip those moving to their left all the same. Not to mention that almighty homing 13 frame 4 button again. All in all though, this string is pretty safe. Be sure to use it. That being said, The oddity of Jin's hitboxes continues at first strike distance. On some characters, the first punch of the string will whiff, but the second punch will make contact. And on other characters, it's the other way around. I suppose that a number of characters experience this type of hitbox to hurtbox deal discrepancy, depending on the opposing fighter's stance. Nonetheless, this may prompt you to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. That is, playing chest to chest against your opponent to ensure that your strings connect. We're going to stop this here. This is but a tip of the iceberg when it comes to the things Jin can do. I'll be going over this and more of his moves in an upcoming video for Tekken 8. But for those still playing 7 and wondering what moves carry over, these attacks won't let you down, though the properties may have changed a bit here or there. We'll be going over that soon. Subscribe to the new wave, as we, like Tekken 8, are here for the fight. Laters.